Hello students, this is our fourth history lecture and the name of our chapter is Historiography Development in the West. Before going further, let us revise what we have done in our previous lecture. In our previous lecture, we have seen about some of the notable scholars, okay, and the name of the notable scholars in historiography development in the West were René Descartes, Leopold Von Ranke, George William Friedrich Hegel, Michael Foucault, Voltaire and Karl Marx. Okay, these are some of the notable scholars. In the previous lecture we have studied about René Descartes. He was born in 1596. Okay, and he told that everything whatever we find in history should be critically examined. Okay, and he has written some rules how to examine it in his one of the book, and the name of the book was Discourse on the Method. He has given certain rule how to find out whether the particular historical documents which we have find whether it is true or not. He has given some of the method, and he has told that never to accept anything for true till all the grounds and doubt are excluded. Until each and every doubt are clear, till then we should not accept anything as a truth. This who has told this? René Descartes has told. Then our next historiographer was Voltaire. He was born in 1694 and he died in 1778. He has given some of the objectives. Okay, he has told that objectives, truth and chronology of historical event considering social, tradition, trade, economic, agriculture, etc. He told that the truth and putting the events in chronology is right, but we should also make the people known about the how the social tradition, trade and economy, agriculture was there at the our age of ancestor. He told people should know about this also, and he was also known as the founder of modern historiography. He told that we should understand about all the aspect of human life. We should not stand on a particular place only. We should see the whole aspect of human life. Got it, everyone? So keeping all this in mind, he was known as the founder of modern historiography. Then our third historiographer was George William Friedrich Hegel. He was born in 1770 and he died in 1831. He was a German philosopher, and he told that everything should be presented in logical manner. Means it should have some logic. Not only because someone is saying we should accept that it is true or it is right. Okay, there should be some logic. As now we are thinking scientifically, we are giving reason behind everything, so we should think logically. Okay, to him the timeline of historical event was indicative of progress. He told that when he has studied everything from starting to end, according to him in every stage there is some progress from then till now. Means we are progressing. Then he also has written many books, and some of his books is Encyclopedia of Philosophical Science. His book Reason in History is also very well known. Now we have studied about dialect. What is dialect? Each and everything has a good and bad side also, as we are saying each coin has two sides, so everything is having two sides. If it is good in some manner, it will be bad in some manner. Okay, if so what we have to do, dialect means good and bad everything. Okay, this method of analysis is which is based on opposite, it is known as dialectic. Means if one thing is having something good, it must be having something wrong also. It is known as dialectic. Okay, so what we have to do in this method, theory is proposed at the beginning, which is called thesis. The good side is known as thesis, the bad side, the opposite, is known as antithesis. So by combining the thesis and antithesis, what conclusion we are getting, that is known as synthesis. This is there in dialectic. We have already studied it, so I am just going through it. once. Our next historiographer was Leopold Voutranke. He was born in 1795 and he died in 1886. Okay. Now he belonged to Berlin University, and he spoke about the critical method of historical research. He emphasized on utmost importance of information gathered through original documents. He told that we should gather the original document. He also stated all type of document associated with a historical event need to be examined with great care. Everything should be examined very correctly. Now, he criticized imaginative narration of history. He told that imagination is not correct. Okay, imagination does not prove that the particular thing is right. We should have the proof of it. He has also some of the collections of book, and the name is The History of the Theory and Practice of History and The Secret of World History. Now, as I have already given you one table, the name of the scholars, their lifespan, the nationality, what contribution, what was the thought, and what books they have written. You just go through it. Then our next scholar today we are going to study is Karl Marx. Okay, Karl Marx was born in 1818 and he died in 1883. According to him, in the later half of the 19th century, a new school of thought arose, keeping in view the new thesis formulated by Karl Marx. Now, what is school of thought? School of thought means people belonging to same thought. It is not any school. It is school of thought means people belonging to same thought. That is known as school of thought. So, one view which Karl Marx has given, and many of the scholars were many of the scholars were with Karl Marx. They were thinking of same view what Karl Marx have thought. So, a new school of thought was formulated by Karl Marx. According to him, history was not about abstract idea, it was about living people. Now, thinking that this is good, this is bad, or this may happen, our assumption, it is not right. It is about living people. What people are living today, how they are living, what are their rights, what are their needs. We should see about that. Now, human relationships are shaped by the fundamental needs of people and the ownership as well as the nature of prevalent means of production to meet those needs. As what are our needs? Food, clothing and shelter. So, according to him, the relationships are shaped by the fundamental needs. Okay, we are linked, a chain is formed, we are linked by that change and of the people and the ownership as well as the nature of prevalent means of production to meet those needs. Now see, how we will get the food, how we will get clothes, how we will get our shelter. Each thing is linked by everyone. Okay, when we are doing agriculture, okay, we have to depend on the chemical fertilizers which we are going to get from some other person. Okay, some heads are there who are means ruling the other people. For example, one factory is there, the head is there and the people are working under that head. So he is the owner and rest of all are workers. So who is fulfilling our needs? The head is fulfilling our needs. And who is doing the production of that? The workers who are working in that factories are making the production. Got it, everyone? So human needs are based on the production. To meet those needs, we are dependent on the means of production. The accessibility of these means to different strata of the society may not be equal. As I told you, see now, when we are working in a particular place, all are not equal. Some is head, okay, some are guiding the workers and the workers are the lowermost. Okay, so head is the society is divided into different groups. As we have all seen we are divided into different classes, lower classes, middle classes, upper classes. So upper classes is the head of the society, they are the owner of the society. Okay, they are the owner of the production, and we are the means. The middle people and the lower people are the means of production. We are providing the production to them. Got it, everyone? So each strata of the society is not equal. We are divided into different parts. The inequality causes a division of the society into classes, leading to class struggle. Now these are the upper classes, the middle classes and the lower classes. These are the division of the society. These are known as the division of the society, and this lead to class struggle. See, now when this division is there, there are class struggle. When we as we have already seen from our ancestor, we are seeing that untouchable people were there. They were not allowed to get the equal right what the other people were getting. They were not allowed to mix up with the society. This class division of class is giving rise to class struggle, because of which we are divided into different classes. According to Karl Marx, human history is history of class struggle, as a class that owns the means of production economically exploits the rest of the classes. What Karl Marx is telling, that what is human history? Human history is a class struggle. As I told you, we are divided into different classes. You are in this, we can see, we rule you, we fool you, we shoot at you, we eat you. For example, the upper is one who is ruling. Okay, and as the chronological at the last we can see, we work follow. This society is working for all this. Okay, the upper one is ruling the next one, the next one is ruling below that, then below that, and the last one is there who is under all these things. Got it, everyone? So according to Karl Marx, history is a study of class struggle, and we are divided into different class, and the upper class are the means of production who are giving us the work to do. Okay, in a factory, the head is there, he is the means of production, and the workers are means they are economically exploited by the head. Okay, we can see now the workers who are working in the factory, they are being exploited by the head, the person who is giving them work. So they are economically exploited by their head. So this human history is about the class struggle. Das Kapital, a treatise written by him, is the most referred book all over the world. Now he is written one of the book. The name of the book is Das Kapital, who is referred in over all the whole world. Now in this, what we have seen, what was the thinking of Karl Marx? What Karl Marx has said, that Karl Marx has said that learning human history is a class struggle. Okay, the division of class has led to classes, different division of the society has led to class struggle, and the owner is the means of production, and the means of the owner, the one who is owning the production is known as the means of production, and the workers who are working they are economically exploited, which give rise to class struggle. And he has written one of the book. The name of the book is Das Kapital. Now our next topic is Annales School. At the onset of 20th century, a new school of historiography arose in France, which is known as Annales School. Now what happened in 20th century, one new school came up, and the name of that school is Annales School. Annales School gave new direction to history writing. Now what we will see, what is there in Annales School which has given a new direction to history writing. It is recognized now that history is not only about political events, kings, great leaders, and accordingly politics, diplomacy and wars, but also about the climate, local people, agriculture, trade, technology, means of communication, social divisions, and their collective psychology, etc. in the historical time. The Annales School was started by French historian. Now French historian has started this Annales School. I have given one chart there. So according to Annales School, what is there? History is not only about whenever we study history, in our mind only one thing is there, that in history there will be about certain kings, their wars, what they have done for the people, what they have not done for the people, why people were happy because of that particular king, why people were sad because of that particular king. Only this we are studying in history, and whenever we say word history, only these things comes to our mind. But according to this Annales School, history is not about the politics, about the kings, about the war. But other than that, history is also about the climate. Okay, how the climate changes, what was the climate of that at that time, about the local people, how were the people at that time. As we have seen from our ancestor till the modern age, we have seen many transition. Okay, so it is we should also study about the people, about the local people, the people when they were people about the particular place, how they were. Okay, how they were first and how they are now. Agriculture, how the agriculture was done at that time. History is about that. Also trade, how trade were done at that time. As I told you before, that at that time barter system was there. Okay, people used to exchange things. There were no they were not buying anything from the money, they were exchanging things. So how the trade were there at time, that time. Technology, what technologies were used at that time. As at that time only few technologies were there, or at our ancestor time there were no technologies. But now we can see that we are full of technology. Now if you want to on a AC also, at sitting at our place, only by one finger click we can on our AC. So we have become so much of technological today, in today's generation. Next is means of communication, how people were communicating at that time. Okay, when were the means of communication? As we have studied that the pigeon used to take the letters and all, then post office came, then phone came. Okay, now we can see that we can WhatsApp anything to internet. So these are the technologies which were used at that time, and now we are, what technologies we are using, means of communication we are using. Then social division, how people were divided. Division is there today also, but untouchability has vanished today. Okay, division of classes even today. From now till today we can see drastic change. Then the collective psychology. Collective psychology means thinking of the people. What were the thinking of the people at that time, and what are the thinking of the people in today's time. So what is analyst school? In analyst school it has described that we should not only study about the political event, about the king, about the great leader, but we should also study about the climate, the local people, the technologies, means of communication, psychology of the people, social division. We should also study this. By studying this only we can know now what were the transition, what transition has been taken place, what change has been taken place from then till now. Got it, everyone? Then our next topic is feminist historiography. Feminist historiography means history related to women. Feminist historiography means the reconstructing of history from perspective of women. See, we can see that whenever there is, whenever people are writing something, they are only writing about the men. Nobody is mentioning about the female. So in feminist historiography, we will study only from the perspective of women. The writings of Simone de Beauvoir, 1908-1986. He was born in 1908 and he died in 1986. Held in establishing the fundamentals of feminism. She was French. Now this Simone, he was a French. He was the one who has held in writing about the fundamental of the feminism. He has written about the women. He was the one who has started establishing writing about feminism, writing about women. The feminist historiography emphasized not only on inculcation of women in history, but also the rethinking of the male dominant perspective of history. Now what he has done, he has not only written about the females, but he has also let us think about how our society is male dominated society. Male dominated society means see, women are the one who is looking after the whole house, but when it comes to taking of any decision in the house, they are neglected. The person, the according whom we have to go through, okay, is the male. The final decision is taken by the male. That is known as male dominating society. The male is taking the decision of the house. There is no interference of women. So he had made us think that this is wrong. Women should also get the equal importance in the society. It drove the historical research to focus in depth of various aspects of life, such as their employment, their role in trade union, institution working for their cause, and their family life, etc. He has also written about, he has given focus on many aspects of women, such as employment. Women also starting getting employment, as we have, you can see in the picture, women are working in the factory. Okay, in some of the factories, some of the industries, they are working. So women were also the part of employment at that time. Their role in trade union, whenever there was a trade, means production, whenever there will be production, then only trade will be carried on, no? So that role in trade union, how they were doing trade, institution working for the classes, many institutions were open for women. As we have seen that in India, we have seen that Savitri Bai Phule and his husband were the first to start women's school. Night school were started for women. At that time, many few females were going to the school, and they has to face many problem. Okay, but then also women acquire education. So we have to see about the institution working for their cause. Means institution working for their cause means many problems are there which women are facing, and many institutions have been opened which are helping these women for their cause. The family life, how they are living in the family, how they are managing their family, how they are working in the family. We should see all the aspect, every small to big aspect of women. In historical writing after 1990, women were portrayed as independent social class. Now from 1990, women was shown as an independent social class. Whenever women were shown, first of all, they were not coming into light in any of the aspect. But from 1990, what happened, women were having an independent social class, means, as I have told you, feminist historiography, which is only about women. So many such things came which were writing, or in which only about the women. In that particular thing, it was written only about the woman. Now, our next historiographer is Michel Foucault. Michel Foucault was born in 1926 and he died in 1984. The French historian of the 20th century, Michel Foucault, brought forth a new concept in historiography. Now, he brought forward some new concept in historiography. We will see what is that. In his book, Archaeology of Knowledge, argued that the prevailing practice of arranging historical events in a chronological order is not right. What he told, as I told you, many historians have told that everything should be arranged in historical, chronological wise. What events from then till now has been happened, it should be line wise. But he is telling that it is not right, it is wrong. He drew attention to the fact that archaeology does not strive to reach the ultimate historical truth, but attempt to explain various transitions in past. According to him, whatever digging or whatever we are getting, whatever documents, whatever coins, inscription, whatever historical things we are getting by archaeological work, we should not assume it as truth. We should not say that it is truth only. According to him, this archaeological things which we are getting, it is only showing us about the past, how our past was, but it is not, we cannot say that it is perfectly true. It may be wrong also. As we have seen in our previous lecture, that one of the historiographer has told us that history changes according to the timeline. Okay, means today if something we are getting, we are assuming it as a truth, but after some years we can get something which can define us that the previous which we were telling is truth may be false also. Okay, so according to him, any historical, any archaeological thing which we are getting, we cannot examine it, we cannot assume it as truth. It is only helping us to show the transition, the changes which has come from our ancestor time till now. So according to him, we should reach the ultimate historical truth. We should find out the historical truth. Explain various transition in the past. It is not, means the archaeological thing which we are getting is not, we should not assume it as a truth, but it is helping in it from transition to see the transition from then till now. Foucault's subjects is so far acknowledged area by historians such as psychological disorder. He has written in his book The History of Madness, Science of Medicine. In this we can study about different medicine, the birth of the clinic in 1963, prison administration, discipline and punish. How was the administration of prison at that time. In the psychological disorder means whatever disorder people were facing, he has written in the history of madness. In science of medicines, he has written about different means technologies which which is helping in medical term. Okay, then prison and admission, how administration of prison were there at that time, he has written in his book Discipline and Punish. So to historical analysis. Now in this chapter what we have seen that the scope of historiography kept continuously expanding. Writing of histories on various subjects like literature, architecture, sculpture, drawing, painting, music, drama, films and television, etc. came into practice. Now different this is a chart which we have studied today. Okay, now if we will see the thinking of the historiographer, different historiographers were having different thinking. Okay, and that thinking they have viewed in their books which they have written. Got it, everyone? So they some has emphasized on archaeological department, some is giving importance to paintings, sculpture, coins. Different historiographer had given importance to different things. According to them they were right. Okay, and the which was not right they have criticized. So we should study all these things. Okay, if you will study this table you will get to know all the things. Now this is the end of our first chapter. The historiography development in the West is completed now. Just go through the main points, you will be able to answer your questions. Got it, students? So thank you. Our first chapter has been ended. In our second lecture we will see historiography in Indian tradition. Got it, everyone? I hope you must have been understood well. Thank you, students. Thank you very much.